This isn't good. I'm just going to be very blunt and transparent with you guys. As most of us know, or should know by now, roughly a week or two ago, this is when Terrence Clarke, who was one of the most known and one of the best basketball players out there, passed away. That was really tragic and it caught everybody off guard, and even still now, people are recovering. My thoughts and prayers still are going out to everyone involved. It's just a terrible situation. I know what some of you are probably thinking. Yo Matt, why did you even bring that up again, and what does that have to do with Brandon Boston? Well, to answer that question, it has everything to do with BJ, and we're about to get into it. T. Clarke and Brandon, they were really good friends. They played on the same college team in basketball and they got along together. And in the wreck that happened, apparently Brandon Boston was driving right behind Terrence Clarke, or he witnessed it. That right there just itself is terrible because he was around when his best friend passed away and died. That's something that some people, yeah, they could get over, but on the other hand, other people have a hard time dealing with. And most people are going on the record to say that Brandon Boston is probably traumatized about this. And I'm not going to speak for him, but that may or may not be true. But what I can tell you is that I'm really worried for him, and I think you guys should be too. The reason I say that is because this has been brought to my attention and I didn't even think about it till the other day. I'm sure some of you keep up with Brandon Boston and follow him on Instagram or any of his social medias. And for those of you that have been following him and keeping up with him before this wreck, one thing you will notice, or did notice, was that he was very active. He was always non-stop posting on his Instagram story. It was rare for him not to post. And let me make this very clear. I don't mean once or twice a week. I mean every single day, and sometimes 3 to 4 times a day. I'm just trying to make it very clear that he was posting every single day. And if he missed a day, it was only 1 and maybe 2. However, ever since Terrence Clarke's wreck though, he hasn't posted a single thing and he hasn't even made a public statement. Hold on right there. Before we go any farther, let me say this. I wasn't expecting him to even post anything or make a public statement within the first week or 2. I understand 100% that he's going through a very difficult time. I kind of figured that he wouldn't post for roughly a week, maybe 2, and he'd be back by now. But ever since everything that's happened with the situation, he hasn't posted a single thing. Not a post, not a story, or anything. And unless I've missed something on Twitter or anything, he hasn't released a public statement or done any interviews. I wouldn't have thought too much about this situation if he wasn't a guy that didn't post every day. But the fact, and the main reason I'm worried, is that he's always posted almost every single day, all throughout the week, and now this happened and he's nowhere to be found. And I'm not gonna beat around the bush and act like we don't know why he's not posting. It's clear. One thing to keep in mind though is that he's about to be in the NBA draft and he has a lot of stuff going on. And one thing I fear for him and I feel bad about is that when he does all these interviews, somebody and some idiot's gonna ask him about the situation. I know what you're saying to yourself. Well, Matt, you're talking about the situation. That's different. I'm not interviewing him and asking him about it. Anybody that does a basketball interview with him should not even speak about the situation because it doesn't even matter. We gotta come back to reality though, because we all know eventually it's gonna come up. The only question left, well, there's a lot, but one of the main ones is that how much longer will he hold out on social media? Is this something he's gonna do for a couple of months, or maybe will he do this the rest of his life? For me personally, I try to relate to every situation I talk about, and I'm not making this about me, but I can somewhat relate. I've had a couple family members that I was really close with pass away in this recent year, so I can feel his pain. And on the other hand, I've also seen one of my best friends die in a car crash in front of me. So therefore, for me to say I don't know what he's going through, that would be me flat out lying, because I do know what he's going through. The only difference in the situation with me and Brandon Boston is that I'm not about to be in the NBA. He already had a lot of pressure on him going into this draft because he didn't live up to the hype at Kentucky. And now to top it off and to stress him out even more, he's got to deal with this. And even one of you watching this, I'm sure there's at least 10 to 20 people that have experienced something like he has. But with that being said, even though let's say I get over it pretty easy and let's say you got over it easy, everyone's different. Every person reacts to things differently. I know it's corny and I don't mean it in a corny way, but people are built different. Some people can handle major inconveniences and then some people can't even handle the minor ones. And a lot of you guys and some people have this misconception that whenever he gets drafted, all the pain's gonna go away. But no, it doesn't end there. He may get over this in 2 to 3 months, maybe 6 months, maybe a year, or he may never get over it. One thing I would love to see is that in a year or two, we see him hooping and it doesn't affect him at all. On the other hand though, I'm not even worried about his basketball play or anything like that. I'm more worried about him mentally. Cause if you're not there mentally, it doesn't matter how skilled you are, you can't perform. First things first with Mr. BJ Boston, he needs to get right mentally and then we can start talking about basketball. Here's the thing though, nobody really knows his state of mind or where he's at. Also too, you almost have to wonder and fear if teams are going to be scared to draft him after this. This is and will continue to be one of the most interesting players and interesting stories in general to keep up with going into the draft. Of course, like always, if there's any big time news, you know we're going to talk about it. Please continue to pray for everyone that was involved in the wreck and pray for BJ Boston. I'm wishing him and his family the best of luck, and I don't know how he's doing, but I hope he's doing great. I hope instead of him being down about the situation, he uses it as fuel and fire and motivation to be the best player he can be. Anyways, moving on with our video, we still have another player in a situation to talk about. And that player is also pretty well known and pretty famous. We have no other than Imani Bates. Alrighty, this is a tricky one. If you didn't know, I'm about to inform you, but Imani was committed to Michigan State for roughly 2 years. And around a year ago, everyone pretty much knew that eventually he was going to decommit and open his options up. And of course, to nobody's surprise at all, he decommitted from Michigan State and now he's looking at other options, either A, going to a different college, or B, going overseas, or C, going to the G League. Most people think the smartest route for him is to go to the G League, but listen to this. So not too long ago, he posted on his story that he was blessed to receive an offer from Texas. Not too big of a deal, right? But it sort of is, because then people started comparing him to Kevin Durant. It's really ironic and I guess you could say iconic because they have a similar play style. Kevin Durant and Imani Bates, the comparison is there, and they both, well, if Imani chooses there, would have went to Texas. Do I see Bates going to Texas? No, absolutely not. But it's interesting to talk about. Most people think he should choose to go to the G League because that'd be the best route for him, but I have a different opinion and so do other people. We're going to bring up Cade Cunningham and Jalen Green out of nowhere for this video because they're a perfect example. Only a year ago, Cunningham and Jalen Green were both in high school and everyone was saying Jalen Green was going to be the #1 pick in the draft. Now, flash forward in time, no one's even discussing Jalen Green for the #1 pick and it's solely Cade Cunningham. The reason for that, it's fairly simple and we made an entire video talking about it. Jalen Green had a great season in the G League and he was really efficient, and Cade Cunningham had a great season in college. The only, and I mean the only difference is that Cade Cunningham got more exposure on national TV. Nobody was keeping up with Jalen Green and watching him throughout the G League. Yes, there was some fans here and there, but college basketball, there's just more TV exposure. That's how it is, especially with March Madness. Of course, Imani Bates isn't dumb and blind to the obvious because he had to see this. Flash forward in time, now Cade Cunningham's going to go #1 and people are saying Jalen Green could fall to #4 or 5. The only reason for that is because Jalen chose to go to the G League. All I'm going to say about this is that it may have Imani thinking about other plans. I actually saw a really good comment talking about this, so I'm going to throw it up on the screen now. This person said, I think he might be better off going to a college over the G League. A college team will run their offense through him, but a G League team kind of just throws him beside a bunch of guys looking out for themselves. That is 100% facts, and that's what happened with Cade Cunningham. When Cade went to Oklahoma State, that entire team and offense flowed through him, so it made him look super good. On the flip side for Jalen, he's in a G League where a ton of guys are just trying to make it. They don't care if they win or lose. This will always be a great debate because there's pros and cons to every situation. When you go to college, you're playing worse and younger competition, whereas when you go to the G League, you're playing better competition. The G League will prepare you better for the NBA, but college will more than likely improve your draft stock. At the end of the day, it really doesn't matter because Imani's still going to be a top 5 pick. It does spark up an interesting debate, so let me know in the comment section down below. Do you think Imani should go to college or the NBA? Well, not the NBA, but the G League. Both of the situations we talked about in today's video, I found really interesting, and I think I'm more intrigued with Brandon Boston's situation. I think the main reason I'm more intrigued with it is that I'm really worried about him, and I hope he's doing okay. Drop your thoughts down below, but with all that being said, that's going to wrap up this video. Hope you guys enjoyed. Hope you guys learned something. If you're new to the channel, what are you doing? Join the family, hit that subscribe button, leave a like for more. And as always, let's be great. We're on the road to 1 milli. And as always, all messed up. Let's be great. I'm out, y'all. Peace.